Hi, today I'm going to answer a question which was confusing for psychologists. When women have higher rates of mental illness, why are more men dying of suicide? In today's video, I'll give you answer to this question. Pratyusha Banerjee, the super popular actress of the famous TV serial Balika Vadhu, hanged herself from a fan at her home in 2016. It was reported that she was depressed due to problems in her relationship. Robin Williams, a great actor and one of the greatest comedians of all time, also died by suicide in 2014. The main cause was depression, which in turn was caused by Lewy body dementia. Kurt Cobain, the lead singer and guitarist of the rock band Nirvana, a cultural icon, shot himself on April 5th, 1994. For 3 days, his body was just lying in his home until he was discovered on April 8th. Turns out he was a regular user of drugs and also suffered from depression. So do you see the connection between depression and suicide? Half of all people who die by suicide may have major depressive disorder. In fact, going through a mood disorder, which includes depression and bipolar disorder, increases your risk of suicide 20 times. I told you in the beginning that women have higher rates of mental illness. How high? Women are about twice as likely to get depression or mood disorders than men. And this is across the world. Of course, rates may vary, but women always have higher rates. Since women have higher rates of depression, then rates of suicide must also be higher in women. Right? Wrong. In fact, suicide rates in men is about 2.2 times higher than women. How is that possible? Women have twice the rate of depression and men have twice the rate of suicide? What do you think could be the explanation for this? You know what people think? Well, it could be because men are taught to bottle up feelings, like they don't really know how to process their emotions that well. They don't really talk to other people about their feelings. Plus, society puts a lot of pressure on them to succeed, to be responsible, to be strong. Well, all of these factors actually may contribute to depression and ultimately suicide, but these don't really explain our question. Why not? Because I haven't told you an important fact here. What if I told you that women actually attempt more suicide than men? Yes, suicide attempts are actually 2 to 4 times more common in women. So one thing is sorted out: since the rates of depression are higher in women, it makes sense that they would attempt more suicide. But the question still remains, why are more men dying by suicide? This is known as the gender suicide paradox in the psychology literature. The paradox is that women are attempting more suicide, but men are dying more of it. I ask you again, what do you think is the reason behind it? I'll give you the explanation now. There are 2 major factors that explain the paradox. First one, intent to die. Second, the method used for suicide. Let's talk about the first one, intent to die. Keith Houghton published a paper in British Journal of Psychiatry where he said that in women, an attempt to suicide is often a call for help. They are communicating distress. Or it can also be an attempt to influence other people's behaviors and reactions, like even to be taken seriously. But when men display suicidal behavior, it often comes from a real intent to die. They actually want to kill themselves, so they just go through with it. Now, the second factor, the method used for suicide. When men attempt suicide, they tend to use much more violent and lethal methods of suicide, like guns, hanging, and even burning. And the reason behind this could be several. First, of course, a real intent to die, like we discussed earlier. Then men on average are higher in aggression. They tend to have more knowledge regarding what are the violent means, and they are less concerned about bodily disfigurement, among other reasons. Also, since men use more lethal methods, once they take that step, there's no going back. Like by the time people discover you, you won't be alive. People can't save you. For women, pills are the most common way of suicide, where sometimes when other people find you, you can still be saved. By the way, there is an exception with this second factor. In rural China, there is some evidence that methods chosen by young females tend to be more lethal than men. But that's more like an exception. So now you know the answer to the suicide paradox. More men are dying of suicide because of higher intent and use of more violent lethal methods. By the way, in this video, I'm not going to cover how to deal with suicidal thoughts, but if you do have suicidal thoughts right now, please keep the following things in mind. If the thoughts are really serious, make sure that you do not take any action. Delay any decision by at least 24 hours, if possible 48 hours. Stay away from drugs and alcohol at any cost. Make sure that you keep talking to someone. Do not be alone. Even if you feel awkward, embarrassed, just call somebody, talk to somebody, meet somebody. And if you have such thoughts frequently, make sure to go to a therapist regularly. Because sometimes when you are really in a crisis mode and you cannot reach out to a friend, you can often reach out to your therapist. And finally, just keep the hope alive. Please remember that whatever problem you have in life, whatever, its effect on you is guaranteed to be temporary. How can I guarantee that? Because very soon you'll either solve the problem or you'll learn to live with it. Not only you are a creative person, but you have extraordinary capability to to adapt to situations. You have much more resilience than you are giving yourself credit for. So believe in yourself and keep taking it one day at a time. Sridhar Life School is a team of psychologists who specialize in counseling. If you're going through very difficult times or you want to achieve higher well-being, we offer one-on-one counseling for individuals, couples, parents and their children. To book sessions, go to our website sridharlifeschool.com.